Welcome to body language tip number 7. And this is the hang dog one. This is who dropped the ball. Reminds me of when they dropped the ball on New Year's Eve in Times Square, but it's dropping energy. In the last video we talked about the awkward octopus and like a fish out of water, from our gestures with our limbs. And in this video I'm going to talk actually about your spinal column and how energy drops in the spinal column. So for those of you that don't know who I am, or maybe is just joining us for the first time, my name is Carole Maureen. I'm the founder of the Lightworkers Institute. We are talking about the do's and don'ts about body language, and the do's being what increases your sales or increases your communication, and what I call boosters, and then the blunders, the ones that drag down our energy or drag down our communication. And how important it is in all relationships, not just if you're a presenter from the stage, but also how you communicate with your friends and family, and especially your children, because your children learn by example. So we want to make sure our communication is clean and clear and flowing. And remember, 63% of all our communication is body language. It's the subconscious. Your body is the subconscious mind, and it's that internal communication that's so important, which I call sacred body language. So tip number 7 is, like I say, hang dog. So that's when we drop our energy and we can look 10 pounds heavier just by our energy dropping, and it feels so insecure not standing up for yourself. And also it's more of a cowering or being afraid. And body language, the opposite of that, even the hang dog, would be the pumped up dog, if I want to call it. And then we're actually pulling too much of the energy up into the spinal column. So this can really throw off the whole spinal column, right from the base all the way up to the crown, or all the way especially in the neck. So when the body tries to rebalance itself by dropping, then the neck goes out, and then we're cut off at the throat, and we're not even expressing, and that's how that hunch can come into people, that what we call a dowager's hunch. And people become they get a pot belly and it's not necessarily from what they eat or their weight. It's just they're not holding themselves up. So we want to be proud of who we are and stand with dignity. And slowly I'm going to show you a recorrection in my posture and the way I hold myself. But I'm very aware of my posture at all times. And that's what I find so important, is just that awareness of your posture. And people want to buy from someone that feels that internal power. People are attracted to us by our whole presence. And I want to stand up in dignity. And Grandma was right. Always stand up and be proud of who you are. And that will show in your posture. It becomes a way of life if you start to practice the awareness of your own posture. And it's not something you just do once in a while. It's about doing it at all times with that awareness. I'll feel sometimes even slouching in a chair or sitting on a computer. These are all things that can throw us out. Even on the computer, you can straighten up and feel that strength within the spinal column. And that's your center core. That's the tree of your trunk, or the trunk of your tree. And the spine can go out in so many different ways, especially if you're busting your back to please other people or you're bending over backwards. This can all put kinks in the spinal column. And that is the most important part of the body, where the nervous system is running. All communication is coming from that, from your spinal column. And I spend a lot of time in my spinal column. I spend at least an hour every morning just working with my spinal column, which I call bedroom yoga. And you're going to hear more about it in our future, in some of our next videos, or through our programs, and staying tuned with all these things that can, simple changes, and they're fun, and they're colorful, and getting in contact with within ourselves. So you want to be, like I say, stand up inside yourself, stand with dignity and proud of who you are, proud of that little girl or that little boy inside. People are attracted when someone's very colorful and very animated with a lot of the way they communicate, and it's a way of mesmerizing your audience, is what I call it. It's mesmerizing your audience, and people, it sort of invokes these the emotion in someone else, and people buy from people that they feel they can trust, and someone that is charismatic, if you want to call it that. I call it charismatic. Charismatic just meaning colorful in their communication. So stay tuned for our next videos or series of videos. I'm going to be doing webinars to give you more information. And if you really want to dive deep into my subject, which is psychosomatic therapy and body-mind analysis, my online program is called Body Awakening Method, and it's a 16-module program that you can do in the convenience of your own home. And it's fascinating how we unravel ourselves from the inside out and really find the power within, and looking at that language that's going on internally, and it's the language of the soul, or a language of feelings. And we can correct so many things within ourselves and reinvent ourselves. So when you reinvent your body, reinvent who you are, that's when you resurrect the soul, and you can really come into your soul's purpose. So stay tuned to us and to my next emails. And I'm just loving that you're here, and I would just love to share all my information with you. And until then, be brilliant.